Hey, everybody. Um, my name is Melody McAllister, and I am coming live from my social media um, stream just to ask you to vote for me for America's favorite teacher. Um, I usually go live to showcase other people, so today it feels a little bit funny to showcase myself. But I would really like to win. And yeah, so I'm glad that you're joining. And if you can make a comment and let me know where you're coming in from, or you're tuning in from, and the state or the city that you are tuning in from. I live in Alaska. I grew up in the Midwest. I am a Kansas City Chiefs fan and a Kansas City Royals fan. Don't hold that against me if you don't like those teams, but I'm pretty diehard about it. I moved to Texas when I was 20, graduated from Southeastern Oklahoma State University in 2003, and started teaching in 2004. So, yeah, that's a little. And then my husband and I, we started a family together in Dallas County, and I did most of my teaching in Garland, Texas. Opened a school there, was the only fifth grade teacher at one point, then worked at a school that was, one of the largest in my community. And yeah, so uh, I do have a bachelor's degree in elementary education. And I've been an educator since 2004. So this, before I was like in a school, um, I did a lot of volunteering. I wanted to be a teacher since I was like 15. One of my favorite teachers, Miss Reisinger, she like asked us the very first day of my freshman year in ELA. She asked us, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was like, man, I want to be a teacher. And I just, every time we could write a paper on a choice, I wrote it on education. And I mean, I got really into emergent literacy when I was, 15 and 16 years old. Yeah, and so it looks like people are, tuning in. Um, Oh, well, yeah, I don't know. I think somebody just made a rude comment, but they didn't spell it correctly. But that's funny. Yeah, tell me where you're coming in from, you're tuning in from, and I would love to know that. If you didn't know already, I am coming live from Alaska. We moved, my husband and I, and our five children. We moved here about 7 years ago. We just hit our 7-year milestone, and I've been in just an education for a little bit over 20 years. Um, I'm also an author. I have written a children's book, and it was released about 6 years ago during the pandemic. Not a great time to release a story. I'll put that in the comments. It's funny because, yeah, I was so excited, but then the pandemic came, right? Not a really great time to release a story. It's called I'm Sorry Story. I wrote it as a fifth grade teacher, and I used it as a conversation piece with my kiddos for years before it was published. And now it's a children's story. And I put the link in there. If you are no longer buying from Amazon or other, places like that, I put it for EduMatch. I love EduMatch. They believe in educators. They are educators for educators, and you can pick it up there if you like, but don't worry about it. I try to do some author Zooms every once in a while, and that's one of the most fun things I do. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me. I love that story. Also, let's see what else. I'll put some of my socials if you want to visit them. I am on TikTok. Yes, and I did go viral in TikTok for my son. He has some of the funniest videos when he was little. Yes, hello to you. Thank you for joining in. Let me know where you're coming in from. I'm coming in from Alaska, and I actually am doing this because I would love to have your vote for America's favorite teacher. And really not because I am the best teacher in the world. I am not. I love being a teacher. I'm a really good teacher. There are a lot of teachers better than me, but I'm always learning how to be a better teacher. But hey, I'd like to win. One of the things that makes me want to win is Bill Nye would come to our school. I would love to give my students an opportunity to meet Bill Nye in real life. I would like to meet Bill Nye in real life, wouldn't you? Nice to meet you too. Yes, nice to meet you too. And let me know where you're coming in from. But yeah, I would love to give my students that kind of an assembly. The winner also wins $25,000. I would use that to throw out debt, put into savings, things like that. I do work two jobs like a lot of other teachers. I'm the director of an organization called the Alaska Society for Technology and Education. I love ed tech, and I love how it really helps teachers and students communicate. One of my favorite things is, have you ever had a student that it takes all year for them to like find their voice in class? I love how ed tech helps students find that a lot earlier and solidify those relationships. So that's my favorite part of ed tech. Yes, I am a teacher. In fact, thank you for asking. I have taught first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. I have subbed all grade levels, including pre-K. I spent a year last year subbing, and my very first year of being an educator subbing. And a few years, I have 5 kids. So when I was having like some kids, I subbed a little bit. So I love subbing. I think that if you can, one of the best ways to kind of shop around to know what district that you want to work in is a sub for it, right? Or what school you'd like to work in. If you can sub. And last year I learned so many amazing things from other teachers, and I really implemented them this year. And so I would love to tell you a little bit about that. If you have any questions, let me know. My theme, if you can't tell by my background, I'm really into the 80s. I was born in 1980. I love starting off my lessons like, well, back in the 80s, because my second and third graders this year, they are the age that I was in the 80s. I was born in 80. So yeah, when I was 8 years old, Cher's song "Turn Back Time" was my favorite song. I know that's so crazy for an 8-year-old to like, but I love Cher, and I love that song. I would call into the radio station and request that song repeatedly. I made mixtapes, and you know how the DJs would continue to talk. I was so proud when I could, I would be meticulous about my mixtapes, and I would make sure that I got as much of that talk off. So that wasn't in my mixtapes. And again, I love telling my students back in the 80s, it's so funny how much has changed since I was a kid, and what is technology. When I first started teaching in 2004, I did have the video cart and the VCR, and that was very technological. As a few years into it, I got really good at PowerPoint. And then I guess about 2015, I started to get into ed tech. My favorite ed tech is vocabulary. If you use any ed tech, and that is the only ed tech that you ever use, vocabulary is absolutely the top of my list when it comes to ed tech. There's great ed tech tools that I love, but that's one that I would recommend to everybody. It just helps your kids create that, the vocabulary. Sorry, I had to find my words. So there you go. And I have more things coming up. Let me know if you have any questions. But again, the reason that I'm doing this is I would love your vote for America's favorite teacher. They suggested that we go live and kind of talk about ourselves, and that's what I'm doing today. It does feel a little weird because usually when I go on a live stream, I'm showcasing somebody else and their work. So that's me. Actually, if you go to my YouTube, and I'll put my YouTube link. Some of you are already probably coming through my YouTube. You can find, I used to do a book chat every week, and I would showcase especially educators and the books that educators were writing. So there's a lot of, if you're an educator, there's a lot of books either like to help you to become a better educator, or that you can share with your elementary students. There's a lot of children's books. I am a children's book author. I do have another one. I just haven't published it yet. It's called Booger Eater, and I can't wait to publish that. I've been writing since I was little. In fact, I want to give credit to my second grade teacher, Miss Anderson. She's the one who taught us how to create poetry, and poetry was like what I used to love to write about. That was probably, I have journals from when I was 8 until I graduated high school of all the poems that I used to write, and I just love writing. It's so funny. I have a post that's kind of going viral right now on one of my Facebook pages, my author Facebook page, and it talks about how, teaching is political. And I had no idea that it would go, be shared so many times, or that it would, create so much conversation. And I'm glad. So if you're watching through my Facebook page and you're new and you're just learning about me, thank you for, thank you. Thank you for having any interest. A lot of educators are joining the conversation about how teaching is political. And I just want to say that, I know that probably, we never used to think that teaching was political, but as you know, the last 20 years have kind of unfolded, I've learned so much about what it means to really advocate for young people. And some of the issues that really plague us are very political. Free lunches, free breakfast, making sure that our kids have those, just those basic needs has become very political in our country. But I want to tell you that having kids that have exactly what they need, it's a lot easier to teach them. And I'm so grateful that at the school that I teach at, my kids do have free lunch and free breakfast. Anyway, if you were to come into my second, third grade class in the morning, I have a playlist of 80s music, but I also incorporate some music that they like. What is it? The K-pop Demon Hunters, and Golden is one of our favorite songs. And so I try to put some things like that. We usually start the day with Shakira's Try Everything. I'm very into social emotional learning and positive self-talk. I really like infuse all of my lessons with that, regardless of what age group I'm teaching. We usually end the day with Lean on Me. Most of the classes that I've taught over the years know Bill Withers and Lean on Me. We end the day, it's our sacred time. I don't let them talk. Like I'm like, we are singing, and we do like some hand motions with it, like, slap clapping or whatever you call that. And it's just really fun to do that. And even if we're having a rough day, and some days are rough, if you're a teacher, some days we end a little bit rough. You feel a little bit rough, you feel a little ragged, right? And I will say that ending the day on that song always puts me back into the right frame of mind. And then I greet my kids as they come into the door in the morning, but I also make sure that as they leave, high five, hug, shoulder, or elbow bump, whatever they choose. We leave the day on a positive note as well. And yeah, my daily routine, I use ed tech. I have a presentation to kind of go through our schedule, but I really do. I feel like one of the best things about teaching is that I have a very good balance of when to use tech and when not to use tech. And I still teach, littles and elementary. So we do a lot of writing with pencils. I see the benefits of both worlds of pencil and paper and ed tech. And I try to really be balanced about that. I think that if you use too much tech, kids get bored of it and they don't want to do that. And I think if you never use it, you're not preparing your students for the 21st century or for the, we're already in the 21st century, but for the jobs. And we're teaching students that are going to have jobs that you and I have never even dreamed about, that they've never even dreamed about. A few years ago, I was doing social media for different educator, entrepreneurs, and for an ed tech company. So that is not a job that I ever thought that I would have, right? And I used to hate social media. I really abstained from it. So it's funny that now I really do love it. I think I love social media the best for creating community. And if you need an educator community, let me know. I can drop a link. Actually, EduMatch is one of my favorite communities, and I will drop the link for EduMatch, because if you feel like you need support, I hear you. I did help start that, or some of it, I guess. Dr. Sarah Thomas is the founder of it. I was very active in the EduMatch community, and it's great. She's kind of unrolling some more things to make the community stronger, and I will find that link so that you can also join it. Yes. Let's see, groups. I'm trying to find it. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I am going to put the link to one of my favorite communities, EduMatch Fam. It's an educator community. And one of the things is they match you up. They can help you match up with other like-minded educators, not like a dating type situation, but just like if you're into ed tech, other educators who are into ed tech. If you're into gamification, you can be matched with other educators who are into that. Like if you're into SEL, you can find that in this community. And so one of my absolute favorite communities. And again, Dr. Sarah Thomas is the founder of that, and she's a wonderful educator and leader. All right, let's move on. And thank you for being here. If you just joined, I am asking for your vote for America's favorite teacher. And again, not because I am the world's best teacher, but I'm pretty good at teaching, and I absolutely am proud to be a teacher, and I'm always improving. I am always connecting with other educators. I am a community builder. I have been in education since 2004, like, publicly. But even before I became a public school teacher, I was volunteering as a young person, took every child development course that I could. And I'm proud that my years in public education have changed me as a human being. Um, I grew up in the Midwest. I was very like in white community, and I love white people. I am a white person, so this is no bashing, but also I lack some real world knowledge about experiences that were very different than mine. But being in the public school system, I have taught students, and I have been in the minority as a white person, and I have taught many students of color, of different religions, and I've learned so much from them and different cultures, and it has really helped me to become the person that I am today. I'm so grateful for that. And also living kind of in an urban area now, my own children, and actually we always have since I've had children. My husband and I have 5 children, and their friend group is very diverse, and they appreciate that. Something I'm very proud about. I love my children. Everything I do as an educator is for my children and for the children in my community, for the children in my state, for the children in this country. I absolutely love investing my time and my energy and my talents into education and becoming the best teacher that I can be for those students who cross my path or that I have any sort of impact on. I present a lot at different conferences as ISTE, ASTE. I've been to the different FETC, different Q, which I guess is Cali now. I've been to a lot of different conferences in the lower 48. I typically stay in Alaska now. But at one point I was doing a lot of traveling, and I really try to talk about the whole child and what that means. One of my favorite things as an educator is getting parents involved. And actually, I do want to talk about that. Something that I kind of hit on in my post that a lot of people are talking about on my Facebook page is this us versus them and who benefits, right? Politically, yes, teaching is political because a lot of the things that we advocate for have become political, unfortunately. And I'm not asking you to choose a side right now. I am trying to stop looking at things as sides, like whose side are you on? It's a strange mentality. I think that we have been alienated and we are choosing this us versus them mentality. And I would like to be somebody who unifies people. I would like to find common ground. I feel like you and I are, we're probably more alike than we're different. When it comes to this us versus them mentality, I'm thinking like public school teachers versus private school teachers, public school teachers versus homeschooling, public schools versus charter schools, teachers versus parents, right? Teachers versus admin. Wherever you find it, there's always this us versus them mentality. And I hate that. I absolutely hate that mentality. I feel like the more that all of us work together, the better we are going to be for our kids that are right in front of us, those who we serve. So I really try to eradicate that mentality, and I need to get better. I'm a self-reflector, and I realize that I can be divisive politically on the things I share. It's so easy to share a meme, and I'm trying to be better at that and to find the common ground that we all need. We just need to be on the same team. That us versus them mentality. Think about this. Who's benefiting from that, right? We talk about school vouchers, and I do not blame parents for using school vouchers. If your kid is struggling in the public school system and you know that they can go to a better program, but you can't afford it, but the voucher system helps you, I don't blame parents for that. And I don't think public schools are perfect. I am trying to be the change that public schools need, and a lot of my friends are as well. So I don't blame parents for choosing that at all. I choose the best for my children as well. And I take any resource that I can. I use my privilege not only to help the students that I serve, but my own children. So in that regard, I am with you. I am on the same team as you. It's just that the way that the government has established that takes away from public school funding. And the majority of our kids in this country are public school taught. My public school education was amazing. I am grateful for my public school education in St. Joseph, Missouri. I've heard, I don't go and visit my hometown. I haven't been there in years, actually. Well, actually, I did visit briefly 2 years ago, but I haven't spent a lot of time there. I know that I've heard the system isn't really great there, but we're all suffering. Here in Alaska, there's been a lot of cuts and there's more cuts coming, and we all feel that. I would love for our federal government and our state government to really prioritize how we spend our tax dollars for public education. I mean, if our government can make sure that billionaires stay as billionaires, they can make sure also that education is properly funded. And I want that for our students. I want that for my fellow teachers. I want that for anybody who's working in education. Because as I said, educators, we are on the same team. Whether you're a public school educator, whether you're a homeschool educator, charter school, private school, what online educator, virtual, we are all on the same team. If we are working to create a better society and teaching our children school, we're on the same team. And so I'm really trying to get away from that us versus them mentality. And if you're just coming in, the reason I'm going live is I would really love your vote for America's favorite teacher. And I will say it again. I'm sorry if you've been sticking around, not because I am the best teacher. I'm not the best teacher, but I am a teacher who absolutely is proud to be a teacher. And I support other educators. I build community with educators. I build community with my students. I have a very good relationship with the parents of the students that I serve. And I have always been one of those people. I pride myself on being able to reach all of my students and help them improve or grow in some way. So I would love your vote if you would like. It's free. If you would love to vote for me or you would like to vote for me, and I really appreciate it. Some of my friends have been supporting me. A shout out to my friend Matt, Mary Beth, Dr. Winokur, Sarah, Jaritza, Olu. I probably am missing people. Mary Beth, I don't know if I said you, but thank you so much for all the votes that you have, put my way. I really appreciate you because you can actually pay for votes, and they have. That was really incredible. I didn't know that people would do that, and it benefits the Planetary Society. So if you want to know, about the Planetary Society, they're the ones that are funding or having this contest, and I will share a little bit about that. I'll just drop a link if you would like to. I'm just trying to get to their homepage. Otherwise, it's going to be a really long. It's going to be a really long Planetary Society. Yes. Okay. Just get their short little. If you want to know more about the Planetary Society, they are the ones who are putting this on. And I am trying to get to the second round. If I make it to the second round, I think that they're going to choose. There'll be more voting. Right. And if you're just coming in, some of the things that if I do win this contest for America's favorite teacher, I will be able to have Bill Nye come and do an assembly at our school. I will be awarded $25,000, which I would like to pay off debt, put into savings, help a local charity in Anchorage that houses homeless teens. And if there's anything left, just save it, help my own children any way that I can. If you want to know more about the Planetary Organization, that is there. But I would absolutely appreciate your vote. I don't, what else can I say? But just thank you for tuning in. If you are new to my Facebook channel, I want to say thank you. I actually go live quite often. I am the director of an ed tech organization. Like a lot of educators, I work 2 jobs, pretty much full time. Which is one of the reasons why I would like to win this contest. It would take a little bit of a load off me financially. I feel like I have to work 2 jobs to make sure that we can survive here in Alaska. It's expensive to live here. So that is why I do that. And thank you so much for joining in. Hello, Connie. Thank you for joining in. If you have any questions before I end this live stream, ask me anything. I've talked a little bit about my background in education. Right now, I'm an elementary teacher, but I have taught all grades from 1st through 8th grade at this point. I love middle school. I love the older kids as much as I love the younger kids. Something about teaching 3rd grade this year, just that they're not sour on school yet, and watching them grow from older 2nd graders into themselves as 3rd graders has been pretty magical. And something I started on Friday, one of my students really hard of hearing. So I'm starting to use a mic and it has actually helped my entire class. I feel like I have a very loud teacher voice, but something that I wish we could normalize is all of us wearing mics as we teach. I cannot believe um, the attention that I had. And I was talking to my students, and I was like, "Do you like that I'm on this?" And they're like, "Yes." And I didn't realize this, but a lot of the energy that they were spending on listening to me was really trying to make sense of what I was saying. And now that I have a mic, they spend a lot less time trying to to know what I'm saying, and they're just really getting into the lesson. And that was really mind blowing for me. Again, I've been teaching since 2004. I've never been mic'd up except when I'm doing presentations in front of adults. And you know what teachers say, like when you're at like a PD and they're like, "I'll just use my teacher voice." Even I cannot hear them very clearly, and they have good voices. And I think um what is this? Sorry, I got a funny comment. You started in front of your crush at school today. Okay. um okay, that's interesting. Thank you for sharing, man who needs cookies. But I appreciate that you are joining, and I would absolutely love, again, before I leave this live stream, just one more time, I would love your vote for America's favorite teacher. It's free to vote. You can vote daily. The competition for round one is almost over. So yeah, if you have a little bit of a time and you would just like to go into this link and vote for me, I would love it. It would be an honor to be America's favorite teacher, not because I'm the best in the whole world, but just because I love teaching. I love what I'm doing. I'm a student advocate. I'm a teacher advocate. I'm a public school advocate. I'm a private school, charter school, homeschool advocate. I am a virtual online school advocate because we are all on the same team. If we are working together to educate our kids, then we're on the same team. I'm really trying to break down that those walls of like it's us versus them. And I've talked a little bit about this if you want to go back into my live stream. I love parents. I always invite parents to come into my classroom. I love when parents are at our school. And you know who else who loves parents at our school are the students. They love seeing their parents at school. Other students love seeing parents at school. And it just really builds the whole school community. And something that I feel pride in is helping that as well, to build that community and that culture. And a little bit about me, if you're just joining in, and I thank you, is I'm an educator, but I'm also an author, and I have written a children's book. And I'll drop that link in case you're interested. The I'm Sorry story. It's a great conversation starter. I do Zoom author chats. Yes. And so if you're interested in that, but yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate that. And it's from, if you are trying to support small businesses, it's from EduMatch. You can buy my story on Amazon. You can go to walmart.com, target.com, barnesandnoble.com and find the I'm Sorry story. But if you want to support a small business, go to this link, EduMatch. They're pretty amazing. I've also, if you want to find EduMatch as a community for teachers, you know, you're feeling alone and you're looking for amazing educator communities, I will drop this link again and put it in the comments. You need to go to this community. I've been active in it for quite a few years, probably since before the pandemic. So make sure that you check out this community so that you don't feel like you're an island. Something that really creates teacher burnout is feeling like you're in an island, you're in a silo, that you don't have, you know, other educator friends that you can collaborate with. So if you're feeling that way, I would just ask you to check this community out. It's an educator. It's by educators for educators. There's lots of opportunities to match with other educators in the areas of interest that you have. And yeah, if you're coming to Alaska, we have a conference every February called ASTE. It's the Alaskan Society for Technology and Education. And it's my favorite conference here. I would love for you to come to that as well. And I think that's basically all. I've been on here for 30 minutes. Just again, thank you so much for being a part of this community. Thank you for teaching. Thank you for being a parent. I appreciate you so much. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I hope if you're an educator that you get rest tonight. I know it's hard to go to sleep on Sunday night, but I hope that you get some sleep. And if you're just about to start spring break, good for you. I hope you do a good staycation, sleep in, and also just give me a vote. Yeah, I would absolutely love your vote for let me see. Let me find that again. For America's favorite teacher. That would mean the world to me if you felt like you could do that. So, all right, y'all. Thank you so much. Take care. Take care of each other. Take care of your kids, and have a good one. Bye bye.